Dave Strong, the infamous Dave Strong. So, I know you need no introduction, but if you can introduce yourself, that would be great.
Well, look, I'm the man of shirts.
You are the man of shirts.
You probably know, I do like my shirts, but I'm Dave Strong. So I run the services business for UK, Ireland, Middle East and Africa for HPE.
Right, okay, Cope. It's quite a big position, Dave.
Yeah.
So you've got to stand out, as you do.
I do.
As you always do.
As I always do.
Yeah, which is good. Right, I'll tell you what I'd like to talk about today, if you're okay. I want to talk about VMware, Broadcom.
Yeah.
And maybe just drift around that sort of area, of a layer of the stack and things like that and what's going on.
Yeah.
But the Broadcom one, we hear it day in, day out, yeah? It's calmed down a little bit of late, but so what's the take from HPE? How are you seeing it? And then I'll talk about how we see some of our clients, what's going on.
Yeah, well, we see it and we expand out from, we look at it across that virtualization market, because it's quite disruptive across across the piece. And, there are lots of organizations out there driving virtualization. And I think that's, over the recent months, as we've seen certain organizations, and how they've changed their licensing models and how they're coming to market. And from a customer's perspective, I think it's caused a lot of customers to reflect, to take a step back. I think there's been, some nervousness in how they go forward. What I also see is a lot, and this isn't just across, when I look at virtualization in IT organisations, we see a lot of budget restriction in organisations, and that's straight across the board.
Absolutely.
When you look at the digital transformation programs organisations are trying to deploy, and what they've been asked to do, there's a lot. There's a lot to do in a very restricted. Yeah,
and with the budget constraints now, the Broadcom price model changing has then had a hit this year, especially. Next year might be different because people will have to budget in.
Yeah.
So we're looking at ways where the VMware pricing has gone up within the enterprise space very, very much, is how we can reduce this year.
Yeah.
So the sort of things we're looking at are running something like, tell me again, cloud physics. Sorry.
We love cloud physics.
Yeah.
Cloud physics is brilliant.
What is cloud physics? Talk to
me. Cloud physics for us.
Tell the people.
It's a tool for us that we use to look at IT estates.
Yep.
And it covers the broad gamut, right?
Absolutely.
It's across a lot.
We use it on pretty much every one of our clients. We run cloud physics.
And our clients love it because it gives them a view of a broad spectrum of what they've got in their on-premise environments and what they have in their public cloud.
How they utilise it.
Yeah, and we can optimise it, right? Yeah. And that's all about us, because we're about outcomes for our customers, right? And it's about getting them value back. And then, wherever we deploy cloud physics, we get a great response.
And so, with the cloud physics side that we're seeing, it's showing people, not clients how they're wasting, but because VMware was X or whatever hypervisor you're using and it costing, it was acceptable. Yeah. But now let's have a look at what you're using. And actually, if you're using 20% of 50% of your estate, you can pull things together, you can change it slightly, and then you can drop your licensing costs, but still use the same product set. Because everyone knows VMware is the best product out there. It's proper enterprise class, isn't it? And so everyone getting angry. I've had so many people say, oh, what's going on? So angry with this. Hey, what are they doing this for? We're going to move off. And I listen to them and say, and I always say, no, you won't. And they say, we're going to. I said, you won't. I said, because you haven't got this skill set in anything but VMware. I said, you look at your team there. There's 14 of your team. 12 of them know VMware.
Yeah.
I said, how many people know these other products? You move off, you get whatever it may be, I won't mention names, but you get those products, one person in your team might know it, and then it would be two, and then they both leave and go somewhere else. What are you going to do? So you're using an inferior product just because you're angry with VMware or Broadcom. And I understand the anger, but try then and get more out of it. Is what you're doing. Reduce that cost by being more intelligent. That's how we look at it.
Yeah, no, 100%. You look out there, there's some great virtualization technology out
there.
From a number of vendors. But you get what says on the tin, right? And it is a great product portfolio, and it's you look at a lot of enterprise customers do very well for what they're using out there, and they're a great partner of ours. And they always have been and they always will be in what we're doing.
But I think Yeah, as I was saying, if we can reduce what they see as the headline cost, now that could be with one of our clients. We've looked at what they use it for. They were hardly using DRS. They weren't using the switching side at all. Yeah. And so we said, well, okay, to get your real HA up, with DRS, yes, it does everything automatically. Get some more nodes on your Synergy blades, for example. So you've got an N+2. And so if you really need something, you can start moving them. You've got vMotion, you've got everything there. Yes, it's not going to be as automatic. But for the saving of this client, where they saved over $500,000 to go from Enterprise Plus to Enterprise Standard, it worked for them. They could have employed another 6 or 7 people to do it. They actually did employ one more person on the switching side because they're talking about creating the spreadsheets, etc., which would have been done. And the DRS side, then they've got people working overnight. Well, it saved them a lot of money. And so just try and be, and that would mean that they will be close to us. It's all low EM HPE, so it's good value. And they'll be close to us because we've done them a good turn. We've advised them. And that's one of the things that we do, and yourself, we don't, no disrespect to any of our customers or any people out there, they only work with one customer because they work in that customer. Now, if we can see how our 40 customers, 50 customers work, we can take that experience and say, we've got another client who's done it this way, you might be able to save money by doing it that way.
That is,
and that's where your experience comes, isn't it?
It is, and that's what our customers want as well. They want a trusted advisor more than anything now, and I think that goes across everything they're doing, across whether it's AI, whether it's cloud, whether it's on-prem. But whatever it is, you need that trusted advisor who's going to sit you in and has the experience and the capability to execute, right? And I think when you can show and demonstrate that value, but more and more we see our customers say, I have a reduced budget, how do you optimize my spend? How do you help me get to that end goal of digital transformation and the outcomes they're trying to achieve? What we're talking about here is fundamental foundations of how we get our customers into that space.
And it's a trusted advisor. That I always say to people, we sell to people, we don't supply to them. And there's a lot of difference.
There is.
If you just supply, and there was one we did recently, it was Christmas, so I think that's recent when I'm this age, fairly recent in percentage of my age. They asked for, and they said we were tendering for this set of products. We said, right, okay, that's going to cost you. And it was 360,000. I said approximately. I said, but if you do it this way, it's going to cost you 250. We're going to make a reasonable margin because we've advised you, and they've got more out of it. That's a trusted advisor. That's what people should be doing with their virtualization layer, how they should be looking at their logs, how they're utilising them. Are they basic logs? Are they analytic logs? Just be more intelligent, and that's where people like us come in.
I couldn't agree more, and I think I was speaking to a customer yesterday, and we were talking about partnerships. I said the only partnership you want is a collaborative partnership, otherwise we're not doing our jobs, right? And you're not going to get the outcomes or deliver on those outcomes unless you can truly trust what we're going to say. And it is about absolutely delivering that value. And as you say, if it's about optimizing, it's about optimizing. If it's about making the best use of their licensing models for virtualization, then it's about that. And I think that's what's expected now. And I think even more at pace as well.
Absolutely. Got to be agile with it, you've got to spot it. Most of our customers that we've looked at licensing, which they think, we're worried because we're under licensed, way over licensed. And so that means a customer will come back to HP, come back to us, back to FGS, because you're actually helping them. You're guiding them, and it makes all the difference. So going on to that other layer we were talking about, that logging, that optimization layer, not optimization, observability, which is an aggregator really of other products, isn't it? So the OpsRAM, talk about OpsRAM. Give me a little bit about OpsRAM.
Yeah, I love OpsRAM.
Well, yes, I love OpsRAM as well.
It's brilliant.
It's got a brilliant position.
It has.
In the observability side or the infrastructure side, I would say. And up to the Kubernetes, containers, all that sort of areas, all of that.
And because it's not just about the on-prem world, it's about the public cloud. It covers the whole the whole ecosystem. And what I love when we speak to customers about it, you speak to the ops team, you go, what's your problem? What's your biggest problem you've got at the moment? And they go, I see too many alerts, I've got too much noise. And when you can take, don't worry about it, we can take all that noise away. We can aggregate all of it up, we can give you a single interface, and we can give that back, and you can get on, and you've got more headspace to do your job. And what we're not saying it's everything. It doesn't cover everything. We're very smart and said it does X, Y, and Z. And we'll we'll remove the ambiguity around the monitoring and the ease of management. I think it's a fantastic tool set.
I was talking with head of when he runs infrastructure and all the platforms in a big gaming firm a couple of weeks ago, and a CTO. And I didn't realise the strength of observability. They said when there's an issue, and with iGaming, it's immediate. And changes happen all the time. I mean, really rapid. A new thing comes out on Netflix, you've got a slot machine that looks like it, It's rapid, so they can't test as much as they would want to. It's not like a banking test where you go U18 and all that don't happen. You get it out there. And they've got good processes, but when there's an issue, something's slowing down, part of the website's slowing down, one, they're all going to row. Database team, not us. They're not us, it's not infrastructure, it's not everyone. And then there'll be a big meeting from all over the world, people all arguing, and the person who shouts loudest actually being, and actually they don't know. They're just trying to defend their position. But actually, all the business wants and the clients want is an answer. And so observability is so, especially integrated with AI, learning what they've got, powerful as.
It's honestly, until I saw it, I was going, how powerful is it? What does it do? And when you see how it can aggregate and how it can pinpoint where something is, just through data, it's not making an assumption, it's going, I think you should look here. But then when you've got the data ingested into the AI engine, and it goes, well, 2 months ago I saw this happen on this day, and it looks pretty similar. Why don't you go and look here, and that's probably going to be your answer. And when you can see that visually, it's really impactful.
With this, I just think it's incredible. And so this is the area that's really going to make a difference, I think. I think. But another iGaming client actually, they were having a spike, and it wasn't regular in performance. That it went down. The pace out onto the website got slower for about, I think it was about 3 minutes. But it wasn't every month or whatever. It was occasionally. And they didn't have a clue because it wasn't regular. It wasn't, and it was the observability side which would have really helped them. As it happens, they've not got it yet, and they're thinking, I hope it just goes away. That is exactly what they're thinking.
And you know it won't.
I hope it goes. They know it won't.
And you know it won't.
But they haven't got a clue who it is. They really don't. So they're going to need to put something on there. And that's what we're talking to them about. And it's only for that period. But if you think about it, with betting, if somebody a lot of people back and then they'll lay it off by backing somebody else. Like in a tennis match, they could put a big bet on, and then that person wins 1 point, and then they back the other person. So they've made that £100, out of 100 grand. Well, if it slows down so much you can't even lay it off, that 100 grand, then all of a sudden you win another one. You're thinking, oh my God, I've lost it. And so this is really important.
Critical, isn't it? Right. It's like when I look at financial institutions as well. When you think seconds, milliseconds.
Absolutely.
Money, right? And to have observability platform that integrates into a wide range of tools, but it's the integrations that amaze me. The thousands of integrations out of the box that will integrate here. We've got open APIs here. We can do X, Y, and Z. It's really and you can see how, from a HPE perspective, when you couple it with our GreenLake platforms, and then you put observability on the top and you integrate it, you've got a very powerful
system. Do you think there might be an issue? We're talking about this, though we know what we're talking about. I think we do actually, Dave. No slides on you or me. So, how many of the partners out there will understand that, or will it have to be mainly the select partners like ourselves who understand it, and maybe HPE talking to clients about it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I think we're seeing a shift in what is expected from IT organisations to how they execute with customers. Because we're seeing that shift to outcome business value, right?
Good.
And it's essential.
It is essential.
And if we're going to talk about observability and how that impacts the business, you've got to know the outcomes they're trying to achieve.
And
I think we've moved away over a significant period of time, I would say in the last 4 years, we've seen a dynamic shift away from turning up to a customer and knowing the speeds and feeds of something and going, this is the technical detail of something, to, okay, I need to understand what the business you're trying to achieve and the outcome you're trying to achieve. Yeah. So it's a different conversation, isn't it?
Totally different.
It's completely different. And I think, you've got to understand that to become the trusted advisor. Absolutely. And it goes back to that. You just can't rock up and say, hello, I've got a great new thing for you.
And I've got a new thing, and it's got chunklets, and it does ASIC and all this sort of stuff. I used to know all that stuff, and I still do, actually. But you need to know what they're using it for, what are the issues within the business. You need to understand the industry that they're in.
You do.
And so, I do get frustrated when you do all this work and then people say, I need to go for another quote. Well, they don't even know what they're doing. And and they've all of a sudden they've trashed our margin. You're thinking they've done nothing. But anyway, that's life. Don't let me get on it. But I find the industry is really fascinating at the moment. Yeah. The AI side of things is really interesting, and I know a lot of companies done it in the CX, customer experience areas, and they're not using their own large language models. They're using generic, which probably is 95% correct in that area. So we're seeing that in a major way, but now we're looking, and I see AI as defensive, and I'll explain this. So if a vertical, one of the big companies says, right, I'm going to send this out and it's going to make a real personal experience for the customers, and the customers can move around. Like I keep using gambling, don't I? Which is a shocker, but we're heavily into the iGaming industry, really heavily in. As soon as one comes out with something that is so personal to that client, the others have got to follow suit. Otherwise, the big hitters, are going to be moving to the people they get the experience from. So they'll have to do it, I'm saying, to CTOs, CIOs, as a defensive mechanism. Because if somebody else does, they're going to nick your breakfast. I assume that's an English term, nick your breakfast, but you all know what I mean.
I think when you look at AI, because I think you can see the world of possibilities are game-changing to organisations and the business and what they can do. You understand why people want to drive to it, and I think we're in that inflection point that was 10 years ago with public cloud. AI we know it's going to be huge. We know it's going to have a massive impact. We know it's going to be game-changing. I think for me, and this is what I love about HPE and the way we tackle it. It's about advancing the way we live and work, right? It's about making big changes to people and how people... And that's what the heart of AI is. And I think, as organisations do that ultra personalisation through AI, you can see where that's really going to make changes. I think when you can see how you can do it in healthcare and what you can do in healthcare and the changes that could have massive implications on people's lives and saving lives. So and how do we accelerate that? And I think we're navigating a world that's quite complex. And I think it has to be as simple as possible to go forward.
It's got to be simple, and you've got to be able to almost get it out of a box, get it to work. If that's to create your large language models, small language model, whatever, and a lot of companies have done so much BI work in the past, they've got this information. But it's all retrospect. So they look at reports, we have reports, and this person does this or that person does that, whether it's in finance or whatever. Actually, you can make that talk, and that is where it's going to be interesting. This information's there, and go and utilise it. But I think people are scared going in first and create a large language model with your information. How much is that going to cost you? And then so we've got to make it easy. There's got to be a managed service around it, maybe, where you could utilise.
Look, and I think you touch on things there that we all know that data is absolutely the foundation of fundamental.
Why we live, isn't it?
If you haven't got that AI data in the shape you want it, then you're not going to get to AI.
No, absolutely.
You got to get. So the more effort you put in that space that people have, are the organisations that are going to quickly get to a space. But I think that what you said about also, how do you make that entry point equitable to organisations to enter? there are lots and lots of organisations out there that are not going to be able to build a large language model. They were not going to have the capital to do it.
Absolutely.
Which for me is why I like private cloud for artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
We launched at Discover.
Yeah, which was launched at Discover. We saw that.
And it's fantastic.
It was nuts, by the way. Were you there?
No,
you weren't. I didn't say. I would have spotted you. I would have spotted you, yeah? A mile off. The Sphere.
Yeah, I heard that it was absolutely phenomenal.
Nuts.
Phenomenal.
But anyway, it was nuts. Brilliant. It was awe-inspiring.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people have said when they came out from Discover, going, yeah, that's game changer. That's differentiating.
Yeah.
And I think the excitement that's generated from private cloud artificial intelligence is suddenly you're creating an ecosystem where it's equitable for people to get into the game. You know, we're not talking about having to build large language models. We're talking about, hey, we can give you an entry point on a small, medium and large. We can get you to inferencing. We can get you to fine-tuning. We can get you to RAG and fine-tuning. But it's not going to be...
It's not going to cost you your whole business.
No, and I think that excites me, right? Because that's game-changing.
I think so.
Also, what I really love is, you know, we've got NVIDIA's engineering, we've got
But the ecosystem that NVIDIA have got is incredible. Now, you've got products that Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, they're all amazing products, but NVIDIA have got the ecosystem. That's why they're worth that much and the others are worth that much.
Yeah.
Because they've built that ecosystem and HP have now gone into with that ecosystem together as a partnership. It was really exciting.
It's really exciting. I think when you say, you know, when we're talking to customers now, well, we have a turnkey platform that can get you on your AI journey. You know, we take in NVIDIA engineering, HP engineering, we've brought it together. We've got a great partner ecosystem like yourselves who can help we can get out there, we can drive a lot of
very
this.
Very kind of you, Dave, very kind. But no, it's absolutely right.
It's, you know, and I think that's where it will completely change over the next couple of years.
Yeah, so it's a really, really exciting time. I always say it's a really exciting time.
Yeah.
And everyone said, virtualisation. And I'll tell you, this is how old I am. Back in '83, when I first started on the mainframes, the first operating system was DOS VSE, virtual systems, and then DOS VSE VM, virtual machines. These were just, we've just changed. We're still using the same thing.
You're right.
And we're still looking at the data, but we're now, for the first time I can ever remember, or it's ever been done, you're using it real time, not in a retrospective reporting, let's look at what these people do. You can make a difference now.
Yeah, and that's it. It's about making a difference.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I think making a difference is at the reach of a lot of more organisations than it has ever been.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think, you know, next couple of years is going to be a bit of a game changing in how that sets out and goes forward.
One thing you said about innovation and HP, and it was HP Innovate and all this sort of thing. I remember about 20 years ago thinking, no, this is nuts. And there was a video that was played, it was Discover, I think it might have been San Francisco, if we look back when that was, but it was a long time ago, I think it was 20 years ago. And there was people at bus stops and it said when the next bus was coming in lights. And I was thinking, no, that's like spaceship stuff. But it's just the norm now.
It's the norm, isn't
and I was thinking, they said this will become the norm. It will know where the bus is because they will have satellite. It would do thinking, you'll be annoyed if you haven't got that now, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That you didn't know when the next bus was or the next train was coming.
Yeah, if I go on the underground, I go, 1 minute, right, I know where it is.
You know, absolutely, yeah. And if I get the train every day, I always check, it's delayed by a minute. It comes up and tells you. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the world's changing. We're at the forefront of it. We should be proud to be in this industry, I think.
I think so.
And who we deal with, I feel as though, as in, I've dealt with HPE since compact days. Right, back in '86 was the first time I started here. I've got real trust in the people here, that people care. People genuinely care.
It is about caring. But I think for me as well, is never more than ever now, in our industry, in the IT industry, has it been, you don't go alone, you go with partnerships.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go and collaborate, you have ecosystems to deliver.
Yeah.
Because it changes too much.
Yeah.
And I think to be a trusted advisor and going into a customer and going, I'm going to do everything for you. They'll look at you and go, you can't.
Yeah. We're talking about partnering with Kudo Ventures, you know them?
Yeah.
About putting out what they do as a managed service side. So it's not exactly what HPE do, but similar, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So they're setting up these managed services. Hopefully we're on HPE equipment. And so we're looking at doing that with them.
Yeah.
And so, because we're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
we can go with other people who we trust, and we
Yeah.
trust the owners of them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's exciting times.
It is exciting times, and HPE makes modular data centers. You would have thought, and modular data centers for me, it's just a market that's ever growing because now we're seeing different ways of doing it. Where you're going to put your AI platforms, you need to be sustainability and have the consciousness of the carbon footprint. So you see all these things are starting to open up that weren't around 2 or 3 years ago. No. But it goes back to that point: is you've got to do it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely.
I'll tell you what we do. Let's do another one, Dave, if you like, in 9 months. Yeah. Let's see what's changed.
Let's see where we are.
Let's see what's changed. So let's go. Let's go for next spring. Let's see what's changed, and let's see whether we're having exactly the same conversation, and we won't be.
No, we won't. It'll be a completely different narrative of what's happened.
Dave Strong,
thank you.
HPE, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Never a chore. Thank you very much. Cheers.